Man, I am legit convinced that high-end GPUs are an absolute waste of your money. Okay guys, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we got to talk about this. So right now I'm on a 9070 XT. I have a 5070 Ti. I bought the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte GPU and I was provided a 9060 XT for review. And to tell you the truth, guys, I tested the 5060 Ti and the 9060 XT for over a week. I had both of those GPUs in there, and before that I had the 5060 8 gig in the PC for about a week. Man, I tested the crap out of this card. I played a lot of games, mostly at 1080p. Going back now and looking at that experience at 1080p, I would absolutely say that, man, there's a lot of games that I would consider actually playing 1440p on this GPU. There are, of course, games out there that you could make this card look bad by showing you like, oh my gosh, it's running out of VRAM. Very, very true. But when you actually dial things down and you look at the experience that you can get from an entry-level GPU these days, you know, like the 5060, 9060 XT, 5060 Ti, you're freaking doing pretty dang good. And here's the biggest thing, okay? I went almost to the highest end that you could get. The only card I didn't buy last generation was legitimately a 4090. And to be completely fair, the only reason I didn't buy that is due to the fire hazard with the 12-pin. That's the biggest reason I didn't buy it. Clearly, I could have bought it. I spent that amount of money on my freaking camera for the channel. It's not that I can't afford to buy one. It's that clearly the 5090 and the 4090, they both have that, you know, that possibility that that pin will burn out on you. You know, just due to the massive amount of freaking power and voltage you need to run that damn card. It's insane. 6,000 freaking volts to run, or 6,000 or 600 watts to run that freaking that 5090. Are you insane? That is ridiculous. And then when you get on a 9070 XT, or even get on a 5060 8 gigabyte, and you legit can play games with the new features like multi-frame gen and stuff, buying those high-end cards, absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. There's no reason to ever freaking do that again. Now, I know what you're going to say. Frog, you don't understand. We need maximum power so that we can have a native experience. Look, man, I used to 100% be on the native kick, just like you guys. I 100% was there. I'm legit playing Stellar Blade on freaking PC with multi-frame gen enabled, quality freaking FSR4, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm flipping back, you know, between quality and native, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, damn. And then I went down to balanced. I went all the way as far as performance, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, you can legitimately barely tell a difference these days between performance FSR4 and DLSS4 versus native resolution. I mean, if you really look hard, like, you can find some instances that will show you a difference clearly. But it is so damn convincing nowadays to look at that. And so when you're on performance and then you throw on your frame generation on top of that, because performance usually gets you well above 60 freaking frames per second. So then you throw on your frame generation. And one of the biggest reasons I did not like Stellar Blade back when it came out on the PS5 is it just felt so sluggish to me. Like, it felt sluggish. I felt like I would hit the button and it wouldn't do nothing, and all of the little freaking sexy animations or whatever had to play out and stuff. And I was just like, dude, this game to me looked more like it was built for somebody to sit and freaking play around with themselves in the corner while they're playing this game, as opposed to actually playing the game. And that pissed me off. Like, that made me mad to the point where I was like, I don't want to play this game, because I just don't. I want a game that's going to be, that I can feel the action, you know? Like, if you look at the first sort of Berserk, Kazan, versus Stellar Blade, I would recommend Kazan any day of the week, every day of the week, twice on Sunday. But now that I'm playing it on PC, and I'm going through the motions, and I'm actually hitting the button and it's working. And I mean, like the sexy animations are still there. They're still going to play out. It's not necessarily something that I care about, but you know, as long as the game is playable, I can do what I need to do and have fun, no problem. And so I'm playing that, frame generation enabled, FSR4, you know, going through the different modes of FSR4 and trying to find a difference in image quality has been just pointless. Like it's pointless. Just throw it on freaking performance and play your damn game and enjoy it. And you can do that on something like this. Like you could legit play this game on this GPU, turn it on multi-frame gen 4X, turn it on DLSS 4 in a performance mode, ultra performance mode if you need to. It doesn't even matter anymore. The constant nagging about, you know, people are like, oh, you played at 540p. It doesn't matter. It legitimately does not matter anymore. Like performance and quality visuals because of AI upscaling, yeah, it's there. It's there. I fully admit that, like, yeah, it's there. It wasn't there with 3. And obviously there were inconsistencies with like FSR 3.1, but I mean, when you look at it, like if you had to play with FSR or whatever, okay, so you get a little bit of fuzz in your image, stuff like that, a little bit of flicker and whatever. Same with like DLSS 3 and stuff, you get like the big old ugly ghosting trails and stuff like that. I mean, neither one of them were perfect, but they served a purpose to give you more performance to make your experience better. DLSS 4 and FSR 4, they absolutely solve that problem so that you can buy the low-end products and get the high-end product experience. And I'm saying this, okay, obviously if you had a 5090 and you turn on frame generation and you use all the features on a 5090, it's gonna blow your socks off. But why do that when you can, a fraction of the price, $300, $400, $350, $500, you can legitimately get a top end experience now with these features, and it will absolutely blow your freaking mind. So back to Stellar Blade, okay? I'm playing this game and I'm fighting the bosses and I'm going around and I'm actually enjoying the gameplay now, significantly more than I ever did. And I'm looking at this and I'm playing this game and it's so fluid, it's so smooth, it's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. There's no stuttering, there's nothing at all. And I'm playing this game. I just finished Mind's Eye. I'm playing Mind's Eye. I've got 4X frame gen. You know, the game was really inconsistent. You know, I'm playing it on the freaking, the AMD. I'm using the freaking frame gen. And I'm getting an experience that is smooth, that's fun to play. I'm engaged. I'm immersed in the experience and I'm using these features and I can't even tell. Like you turn them on. And I'm not just saying this, like you get the freaking card, you turn on the features, you play your game, you enjoy it. The best thing about, I guess the best thing about the 60 class from this generation, you know, I made a video last night. The best thing about the 60 class about this generation is legitimately the fact that you can essentially play games on 4K. You can essentially play games at 4K. And get a good enough experience to where it's like, oh man, this is actually fun. As opposed to like prior generations, the 60 class cards on 4K, like that, yeah, it was almost basically undoable for a lot of the games, and most of them were legit unplayable. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna have to adjust settings on an 8 gig GPU. Yeah, okay, or you spend $300, $350 on an 8 gig GPU, or $300, and then you turn it on and you're playing at 4K, and you're like 100 frames a second. Do you think you're really going to give a crap when like legitimately you thought you were sentenced to 1080p? Do you really think most gamers are going to give a crap? 70% of gamers out there would legitimately turn it all on and not even be able to tell a difference. 90% of gamers would be like, okay, I can notice a difference, but this is damn good. 98% of gamers would be like, well, I'd prefer maybe, you know, to have a little bit like sharper image and not have to use performance. And then that 2% of gamers that are out there spending all their money on 5090s and 4090s every generation are looking down at it like, oh my gosh, I got the best. And I'm like, dude, I'm like 98% of gamers wouldn't even give a crap. Most of them will probably use it and be just fine with it. But they've got them influences, the really loud minority out there that make videos to try to convince you that you need to spend all your damn money on PC to have an experience. No, like, that's where I got to draw the line, guys. Like, I've spent so much money. I think I'm probably over $15,000 in the last, what has it been since I started PC gaming? Like 3 years, to try to figure all this out for you, to try to learn, to try to get the best understanding of that, and giving products like an 8 gigabyte GPU a fair shot. Like, I legit put it in there and played under the constraints that I thought, okay, you know what, let's look at this logically and see what the 5080 or 5060 can actually do. And it legitimately blew me away. I was having so much fun, even on this card, even at 1080p, maxing out the settings, adjusting the settings, doing whatever. I even played games like Assassin's Creed and freaking Cyberpunk at 4K resolution on this GPU using the features, and I thought, damn, this is actually something that I could play and enjoy. And so when I look at this, when I look at the cost of the top end GPUs these days, I legit shake my head and I'm like, wow. I mean, I think the highest up these stacks that you should go, 5070 Ti, 9070 XT. The only reason why I even say go past the 60 series cards if you want to spend some money is pretty much like longevity. If these features continue to improve, obviously FSR4 will continue to get added to new games, continue to get added to older games. Obviously DLSS 4 is a significant improvement over DLSS 3 and will continue to be rolled out in new games along with other features. I would say if you really got to have that ray tracing experience, I would suggest the 70 class cards. Okay, if you to some extent, even a 5070, with the 12 gigs of VRAM, like, you can legit have an incredible experience with that card. I legit believe that. I've actually considered buying one so I could test it, but I would stay, you know, if you want that 60 class experience, okay, and you just want to have fun, you just want to be able to play new games, you just want to be able to sit back, relax, and, you know, I mean, this video is made more for the casuals. It's not made for the 2%ers that got the money, that want to go out and spend all their money on 5090s so that they can brag about having a GPU that's like, okay, buddy, like, turn on the features and it will blow your mind even more. But I need the features because I got the whatever. Nobody's trying to argue with you, man. Legitimately do what you got to do with your money. But for everybody else that just wants to play freaking video games and doesn't give a crap, and is willing to make slight sacrifices to achieve that, the 60 class cards this generation, man, like, I'm like, I cannot believe, like, I'm not even saying this, like, I cannot even believe how much smoother, better looking, and just immersive my gaming experience has been this generation. Ever since I started using these features and actually taking them seriously and not just being a snobby asshole about it, I find myself fully enjoying the games that I'm playing even more than I was before. Like, there were, I'm not even joking, guys, like the 9070 XTX or the 7900 XTX, the 4080 Super, the 7900 XT, all of the cards I bought last generation, 7800 XT, all of those cards, incredible cards. But now that I look back, you know, after frame generation came out, like, I tested it a little bit and I played around with it and I was just like, okay, I wasn't legit forcing myself to actually use it back then on new games. I wasn't actually, you know, like, going out. I was just turning it on. And be like, okay, maybe. I wasn't going out of my way to actually adjust settings or do this or do that, play around with I was still legit. If I was using upscaling, I was at quality mode. I wasn't playing around with like performance or anything like that. Like, I was just doing that. And I was like, okay, this is the experience. I kind of wish that I still had the 7900 XTX so that I could go back and like turn it all on and actually use it the way it's meant to be used. because I think it would have enhanced my experience. I mean, there was times, you know, like I would put on, you know, like the Witcher 3 or you know, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I would be sitting there on the ultra wide. I'd be maxing out the screen, you know, I'd be pushing over 240 frames a second with the frame gen, and I would remember feeling like, wow, this is just so ultra smooth and so good. But then with this new generation, guys, with the new generation, you have FSR4, you have DLSS4. So now in a performance mode, you can get damn near close to native 4K resolution and still have the quality visuals that you would expect from a native 4K image at extremely higher performance, higher frame rate. And I don't really call it performance because let's be real, like frame generation is not performance. Like it's not real performance. What it is experience, okay? And I've said this multiple times now. It is experience. The fact that you can take this $300 card. Well, this one's $350 because it's the Aero, the Gigabyte Aero. I freaking love the aesthetic of this card. It's so absolutely incredible. And it just goes so well with my white build. But you take the $350, okay, that you spend on this card. And normally, you know, on a 60 class card with 8 gigabytes, you would pretty much relegate yourself to be like, all right, man, this is a 1080p card. There's no reason to rock the boat. You know, 1440p even, you could probably do a solid 1440p experience on this card. And that proved true, man. After I got the 5060 Ti and the 9060 XT, guys, I mean, I like the Gigabyte card way better. I think that I kind of wish that I would have just bought, I kind of wish I would have bought my 5060 Ti in that too. But like with this 5060, bro, with this 5060 Ti, 16 gigabyte card, I noticed that because it's like, it's not way better than the 5060 8 gig. It's not like way better. I mean, it is better, but and obviously the VRAM allotment, you know, makes it a better experience, but it's not so much better that it's like, damn, dude, I just got, it's not a significant upgrade over that. So it's like, but when I was playing at like 1440p and I was playing at like 4K and stuff on this card, and I was noticing that, I was like, or when I was at 1080p, you know, noticing that it wasn't like super, like significantly higher than that, I was like, gosh dang, dude, maybe I didn't give the 8 gigabyte, you know, I should have let it stretch its legs more when I had it in there. I will be letting it stretch legs more pretty soon, but the thing is this card right here at 1080p wasn't significantly better than that, and that was pretty damn good at 1080p. And so when I looked at this card and I was playing at 1440p, I was playing at 4K, I was just having some fun on this, and I was looking at that experience, I come back and I'm like thinking, I'm like, gosh damn, dude, I really should have taken that card for a little bit. I should have pushed it more, but I was more intent during that testing to just see, you know, like, okay, like if I was to buy this and I was on a 1080p monitor, how would that experience be for me? That was my main goal. I mean, having that 4K OLED that drops down to 1080p at 480 hertz, I thought, okay, this is the perfect opportunity because I've got an OLED 1080p monitor that does 480 hertz. Let's let this thing stretch its legs at 1080p. And I was absolutely freaking blown away every step of the way with the 5060, okay? And then I get the 9060 XT and I start testing that card, and I went into that card with a different mindset because I was like, all right, AMD is, you know, pushing this as a 1440p experience. So I get on there and I start trying to push that at 3440 by 1440p. That was my goal, was to test this card at like the like peak 1440p experience, okay? Because obviously 1440p is pretty easy to run nowadays. All of your 1080p cards can legitimately do 1440p very comfortably, using settings, without using settings, adjusting, you know, using the features, stuff like that. 1440p is absolutely not a problem these days on even the entry-level GPUs. And so I tested the crap out of that card for a while on 3440 by 1440p, and it legit met and exceeded my experience, and using the features even pushed it higher. So I was like, all right. And then I got the 5060 Ti, same thing, started doing it 3440 by 1440p, absolutely knocking it out of the park easily. I was like, wow, this is impressive. And then turning on DLSS or FSR4, utilizing the features like multi-frame regeneration or AMD's fluid motion frames stacked on top of fluid motion or frame generation, I found myself absolutely freaking enjoying the experience. Every single time, didn't feel like I was getting a bad experience at all. And then I throw back in, you know, and then I throw both of these cards at 4K, and I was playing around with the 9060 XT, the 5070 Ti, or 5060 Ti 16 gig, and I'm looking at the 4K experience on these, and I'm like, holy shit, this is actually doable. This is playable. This is giving me a good experience. I am actually happy with, I could actually be happy with this. And then looking back across the stack of other GPUs that I'd bought and previously, feeling like, holy shit, dude, I'm getting a better experience on a 60 class card at 4K than I was getting natively on a 7900 XTX and a 4080 Super, just using those cards natively. And that shit blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this shit's actually good. Playing games like Star Wars freaking Outlaws on a 60 class card at 4K using DLSS 4 performance mode, frame generation. I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? I'm getting a better freaking experience on this card than I was getting on a 7900 XTX. Legit was blowing my mind. Same with the 4080 Super. I was like, how the hell do these 60 class cards give me a better, smoother, and that's the thing, okay? Smoother experience. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm legit getting a smoother experience on a freaking 60 class card than I was getting natively on a 90 class card from last generation from AMD. I was legit blown away. Playing games, you know, playing games has always been a big thing for me, guys. I absolutely love playing video games. I will play if I'm interested in a game. I will absolutely play it. If there's performance issues and stuff like that, whatever. It is what it is. I just play through the game. I enjoy the experience. The best thing about PC is, you know, technology continues to move forward. You buy your games, you play through them, then you can always go back to them because you're buying them digitally or whatever. So you always have those to go back to and recheck the experience, you know. And after a little while, you know, like a couple years or whatever, you know, a year or whatever, you get newer hardware, you know, you go back to the same game or something, and now it's a completely different experience. So you get to re-enjoy that whole experience. And so that's like one of the massive things I love about PC gaming, guys. But higher end cards are a waste of money. They're a waste of money. They're no longer as relevant as they used to be. You no longer need that to enjoy your gaming. You just don't. You don't need them at this day and age. You don't need freaking 90 class cards. You don't need 80 class cards. And I think AMD and NVIDIA are basically telling you that too. They're legitimately trying to reset the market for PC gaming. And while a lot of us probably don't agree with that, you know, I'm okay with that. As long as the pricing stays consistent. You know, I mean, if this is the new pricing range they want, $750 for the 70 class card, you know, from NVIDIA. For their TI, and then obviously, you know, what was a $549 for the 70 class card, and then down the road you go. And the same with AMD, you know, $600, $700. I think that AMD could have charged $700 for the 9070 XT, and it would have looked better today. Like, it would have looked a lot better. It would have looked like you were getting a better deal. But if that's the way they want to do that, set these prices while still being able to legitimately deliver a 4K experience that is pretty enjoyable, especially compared to last generation high-end cards natively, yeah. It's better. It's better. I mean, we're legit getting the native experience pretty much on these cards anyways, like the 9070 XT and the 5070 Ti, legitimately giving me 4080 Super and 7900 XTX in between the 7900 XT and XTX power on a 9070 XT. Okay, like, that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. Like, whatever. Look at these as the high-end cards, and then move from there. Like, obviously next generation, our 70 class and our we'll get an upgrade. You know, we'll probably be closer to the 80 class. Maybe I would hope it would be better than a 5080, but you know, at that same point, guys, like as long as the price doesn't go above $750 for the standard entry-level base, here's your 70 class card. Okay, cool. Let's keep it at that. Let's move forward. We'll accept your freaking, we can accept the features and stuff, because honestly, guys, it's improved my experience. So I'm like, okay, I can accept that. And yeah, dude, that seems reasonable for me to pay $750. Okay, whatever. I mean, obviously up to $1,000, you know, you get a really nice AIB, you get, you know, like the freaking XFX magnetic air. Absolutely, I'd pay $919 for that. That card's absolutely incredible. I love everything about it. Even my Prime cards, I like the aesthetic of these. Boom, they look badass. Yeah, I feel like $1,000 for the 70 class card, higher end, whatever, man. Like I don't know what to think, because I've only been PC gaming for 3 years. So you have to look at that. You have to give me credit for at least trying to still be excited in an ecosystem, or you know, that people are legit at the end of their rope, like, oh my gosh, you know, everybody's freaking out, dude. Everybody's so mad, and nobody is actually taking the time to take a deep breath, play some freaking video games, and see if they actually like the experience or not, or if they just want to bitch and complain about every single thing out there, you know. I personally like the latter. I like to be able to sit, play video games, make up my own mind, and then give you guys my honest opinion about it from a realistic point of view. Like, I don't think, see, here's the thing. I don't think they're way overcharging us. Like, it's not egregious pricing for the 70 class, okay? It's still under $1,000. It's still essentially attainable for most people. You know, most people should be able to, you know, afford that. I mean, if you had to finance it, it's not like super, it's not so egregious that you can't get it, is what I'm saying. But $2,000 for a 5090, absolutely egregious. That's ridiculous for gaming. No, don't ever do that. Don't ever buy that. That's pointless, my friends. It's absolutely pointless. You can get that experience, that native experience, for a fraction of the cost. For a fraction of the cost, and save a lot on power. Like this thing right here, what is it? Like 150 watts, 140 watts? Is it 140 watts, 150 watts? Like whatever, dude, it's still a fraction of the power needed to give you that level of performance while using the features. To me, it just doesn't make sense anymore to spend that much on a GPU. There's no reason on this planet to spend $2,000 on a GPU. There's no reason on this planet to spend $1,500 on a GPU like the 5080. I had literally been sitting here considering buying a 5080 because I want that Astral ROG, that Astral ROG Ally, but I would much rather them just do a 5070 and sell it to me for $1,200. I would much rather just buy that at $1,200 than pay $1,700, $1,800 for 5080. I just don't need that power. I just don't need it. It would do nothing to improve the experience more than it already is for me. My 4K tops out at 240, and I can usually get these things with a little bit of tweaking to hit pretty close to 240 or well over 100. And I'm like, okay, like that to me is fine. Like it feels good, especially on a controller, guys. If you're using a controller, it feels fine. It feels fine. Like I legitimately, I cannot think of a reason for you to spend that money on these damn GPUs anymore when you can legit get super high experience on a 70 class card now. When you can get top of the line experience with a freaking 60 class card by using the features, I just cannot see the point in spending that money. And I wish there were more creators out there that would actually look at this stuff a little bit more realistically, because my platform is just not big enough. I'm just not big enough to really push this forward, to really get into people and to like help you guys save money. Because look, man, if I can enjoy this, I guarantee you can. If I can enjoy it, I guarantee you can. I might be a little bit more lenient than a lot of people, you know, because I don't go out of my way to try to make a big deal about everything. The way I look at it is I spent my hard-earned money. I spent my money to buy that product. I'm going to enjoy it the best I can. And so I look for ways to enjoy it, my experience. As opposed to just looking for ways to cut it down, I try to look for ways to enjoy my experience because I spent my money that I work hard for so that I can enjoy that. I didn't buy it to bash it. Like that's just not my style. Like I don't buy things to bash it. That's just crazy. Like why would anybody do that? Yes, I think it's a waste of money to buy high-end cards. I do. I think it's an absolute waste of money, but I'm not going to tell you not to spend your money on whatever you want. But just know at the end of the day, like you guys are paying so much money for something that you could legit get. Look at it this way. If you spend $500 on this 5060 Ti, okay? I'm just using this one as an example. You spend $500 the day it comes out. 2 years goes by. The next one comes out. It's $500 again. You spend another $500, you get a nice performance boost. You can still maintain and do what you wanted to do before. Boom. Another 2 years comes by. Boom. You get another one. You can get four cards, always guaranteeing to give you an upgrade in performance, in power, whatever. Always guaranteeing to give you that for a fraction of the cost. Instead of like legit buying that, you save so much more money staying at the 60 class, 70 class. It just, to me, it's pointless to go anything above that. Especially now that like 1080p, 1440p are essentially doable on the base freaking GPUs. Essentially doable and 100% incredible experience. Most of the time you don't even need to use the features to do 1440p on these GPUs, so can't really see a reason to tell you to, oh yeah man, you need more on 1440p, because entry level's got you covered all the way up to 1440p now, and 4K if you use the features. I legitimately do not see a reason to really go past that anymore. I mean, if you want like a definitive good experience of 4K, 70 class cards, okay, maybe I can understand you doing that. But to legitimately put yourself in a position to where you are using 4 times as much power just to run it, you're spending 6 to 8 times more money just to get that experience by buying pure rasterized power. That to me, that to me is crazy. That is legit crazy. Like, okay, I get it. If you're using it for work or designing or something like that and you need that power, okay, I got you, bro. But if you're just gaming, it no longer makes sense to spend that much money. Like, you can legit do that shit on a freaking 60 class card. It no longer makes sense, period. That's why this stuff is getting more expensive. And is it really getting more expensive, or are we just still getting the same power for less price? We're actually getting the same power last generation for less price. So no, guys, we're not getting ripped off. We're not getting taken advantage of. The greedy corporations are not screwing us over. They're just giving us a different option that's significantly more performant. It really is. Like, if you really look at the experience that you get with frame gen and all that stuff, guys, it really is better than what you would get on a native. It really is, man. It's smoother, so automatically it feels better, it looks better, and it's still, you still got the same, like it still feels good. It still feels good. So, all right, guys, that is my rant for today. If you guys like this content, do not freaking forget to like and subscribe. I need to grow so that we can help more people save money and make gaming fun. And keep gaming fun. Like, it shouldn't be as complicated as it has become. There's no reason for that. Gaming just needs to be fun, my friends, and we need to get back to that. We need to continue to figure out how to stop, stop making the people that are just trying to destroy our favorite freaking, our favorite thing, man. We got to work together. We got to be stronger. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Froggy out.